Alright, welcome to another video. It's Monday the 17th of June. We've got a real lawn fest for you today. But we're going to start right here at the Posh job, and today we're going to be thinning this lawn out for the first time since we did all our main renovations, because it's just getting a little bit too thick, and for that we're going to need the Posh job Scarify. So let's go and get that out and then we can get started. Alright, so I know what you're asking is, why are you doing this already when we only did the renovations about 6 or 7 weeks ago? It's because it's growing so fast at the moment. It's really thick and we're just getting towards that point where it could start developing a little bit of disease, bit of red thread knocking about in this lawn. You had it quite bad last year, so there's always a chance you'll get a little bit, but we've got it under control because we've kept on top of it with our nitrogen content, so it's not been able to take hold. But I'll show you in a sec if I can find it where there is some. So that's going to help that. It's generally just going to thin it out. We're going to get some nice grooves going through it so the wind can blow through and dry it out, because it's a little bit wet as well, so we've had a lot of rain. So all in all, there's a few things why. So what I'll do is I'll show you a bit closer up now why we're doing it, and I'll show you some of the better areas and some of the worse areas where there's a few more weed grasses, and why we're doing it for the weed grasses as well. So let's do that now. So up here it's looking really nice. There's a bit of a weed grass there, but generally we've got a nice tight sward, but it's just a bit thick, isn't it? You can just see that if you open it up you can't really see the soil, so we want to get through it for that reason, and that is really hot. So that water in there, that is in there, is heating up. So that's another reason why we want to do it as well, because that is disease, kind of what disease loves is a wet, warm surface, like any fungal disease, where you get athlete's foot, because your foot is in your shoe all sweaty and hot. It's perfect breeding conditions for fungus, so the lawn's the same. So that's why we need to get this scarified. So just got it there, ready to go. I've just done a little bit of a play over here, and I think I've got it. That wasn't what came up in one pass kind of from that area. That's just I pulled it back and it all fell out. But I think that's about right. That's where we want to be. So if we go down the area here, we can see this one's quite bad. So we really want to get into that weedgrass just to break through that, because it's growing flat, so it's just starting to grow that way. So if we cut that way, which we do, it's still starting to grow laterally this way. So we'll just break that up, and then when we cut it with the rotary first, we should be able to chop right into that. Right, so that's the scarifying done. Let's just have a closer look. We've attacked some of these weed grasses, so they're standing nice and proud, so we can get those with the rotary and chop those right back. Another one there. It's quite a lot come up actually, considering we only did it quite aggressively 7 weeks ago or something, 7 or 8 weeks ago. So yeah, but it's still looking nice and green. I've already cut some, so we can see already that going back on that stripe has nullified the old one, and everything's now stood up nice and tall. So when we're going with the cylinder next, we're going to be able to get this even shorter and take this down a little bit more as well. Alright, so that's the rotary cut done, everything's picked up. Whilst I go and get the cylinder out and have a well-earned cup of tea, let's join my good self at Steve's job, and we'll catch up from what we did last week and see the results there, and then we're going to move on from there to form a Britain's best lawn, and then we'll join me back here when I'm ready to cylinder cut. Alright, so we're back at Steve's job. It's 7 days since we did our micro renovation. Let's just have a look back at what we got on with. We double verticut our lawn with the grooming cartridge, and then we went on with our Equilibrium, Dan's Magic, Stella, Grace and Orbit, and some H2Go. And this is the result 7 days on, looking absolutely fantastic. So is the other side. We'll have a look at both, because on that side we did exactly the same, less the vertical and less the Dan's Magic. We went on with Dan Summer's Secret over there. So let's have a closer look at this, and then we'll get it cut, and then we'll see the results. Looking mighty fine, lovely. So what we'll do is, there's just a little bit of dew sitting on the surface this morning. could be due, it could just be rain from overnight. Either way, it's going to impact on our mowing when we go over with the rotary, because there's all these willow leaves to pick up. So what I'm going to do is, I've just got a little brush over there, about the same width as these stripes. So I'm going to go over that, but what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go against the stripes that we've been putting in, just to pick this grass up a little bit, so when we go over the rotary, it's all standing nice and tall. And then we'll go on with the cylinder and polish it up and get it back down to 20mm as it was. So I'm looking forward to this. Let's get on with this side, and then we'll go and look at the other side. Okay, so that's after the rotary cut on 2. We can still do it on 2 because we've got control back. The roller is making kind of contact with the soil. It's not on the soil because you've got the grass there, but there's no sponginess because we're getting rid of that thatch and lateral growth all the time. So that's fine. So what I'll do now, go on with the cylinder, polish these tips up and get it down to 20mm, and then we'll see how it looks. All right, right. So, no sun, but that's great because we can see how deep the green is. We don't always need the sun to see. Let's have a look now. Lovely. You can see the soil right there, which is great. So going forward now, we just need to cut this. Just keep doing what we're doing. Liquids every 2 to 4 weeks, as and when we can get on with them. You know, you can't always get on with them, chucking down. Well, you can still put it on when it's raining, but I just don't like getting wet these days. I've done my bit in the rain. I'm time served with the rain, so I don't really care to work in the rain. I do if I have to, but generally I sit it out now. And wind, obviously, Bolton is like the windiest place on earth, I think. The cloudiest and the windiest. Not quite the wettest, that's Seathwaite up in the Lake District, but we're not far behind. So what we'll do now is, we'll just have one little more look, see how it looks. Beautiful. Feels really strong. You can actually feel it crunching underneath your feet. And we're going to have a look at the other side and give that the same treatment with the rotary first, and then we'll finish off with the cylinder, and then we'll call this one done. And then we'll go over to former Britain's Best Lawn and say that's progressing, because we've done a similar thing there last week as well. All right, so this last week had the Dan's Summer Secret, and if you remember, I was just pointing out that it was a bit too much iron in there and it went a bit black, but that's recovered now. It always does, comes through lovely. It's just not very nice at first, but we've adjusted that and we've sorted that out, so we know what we're doing. So what we'll do is we'll go on again, give it a cut. I give it a cut Friday. Been so windy, these willow from up, well, not that one, but that's one of them. We've got one right here, as you know, and what it does is it has like the leaf that stays on, but then it has all these leaves underneath it which are constantly falling off. So we can just see it's a bit darker green, this one. This is because of the iron content. That over there hasn't had any iron yet at all. So what we'll do is at some point, when we get some nice weather, we'll get some galactic on that and elevate that to that next level and get some nice pictures. But for now, this one, Equilibrium, Dan's Summer Secret, Grace, Orbit, Stella, H2Go. Looking fantastic, lovely deep green colour. It reminds me of the Masters, this deep green colour. So we're going to give it a cut with the, we'll give the rotary that way, singles, and then we'll go cylinder uphill. Because if we go cylinder left to right, we dig in because of the weight kind of leaning towards the left, because we're obviously just like leaning towards like gravity, if you like. It's just heavier on that side, so it digs in. And it just looks unsightly, so going upwards we're more or less level, so cuts better. So let's give it a go. Oh, and I forgot, let's just have a look at this patch It's closing in a little bit. Might be worthwhile just sprinkling a little bit of seed on that, getting the seeds flatter out and putting a bit on. But it's definitely closed up from last week. If we have a look at it last week and now, I think there's a bit of a difference. So as we continue to get this cut, especially with the cylinder, this is really going to thicken up. Alright, let's have a closer look now. Lovely, it's coming on. Just got to thicken up, and we'll do that by cutting it. Even over here, looking beautiful. It's really contoured. It looks beautiful because it's like a fairway of a golf course all over the show. So a contouring lawn can sometimes be better than a flat lawn because you just get the rolling hills like of Ireland. You know, people don't go and visit them because they're flat as a pancake, do they? So we have our very own rolling hills here. So yeah, let's give this a cylinder cut and we'll start to wind in that length. Okay, so we're just wicking our way down now. That was on 23mm. So next time we cut, I'll do it on 22, and then so on and so forth until we get what we want. But yeah, really looking good. On this one we can do the tartan stripes because we've got the room to do it. On the other side, we don't. Alright, let's go over to Farmer Britain's Best Lawn and see what's going on there. Alright, so we've just made the short trip from Steve's job over to Farmer Britain's Best Lawn. So last week I got on with a few jobs, so before I show you the results of that, let's just have a look at what I got on with last week. So I'll leave you to it. Alright, so what we've just done a left to right cut with the cylinder at 28mm. I just like to do 28 then get on to 25 with my second pass. But what we're going to do today is, because we've got the French TV coming next week, we want to get this presented correctly. So cut it. What I'm going to do is I've got the sterling set up now with the scarifying attachment in. We're just going to give this a light groom, put some feed on, get it watered in, wheat to kick in, and then next Tuesday we will be absolutely spot on for them coming. So let's get on with that. Alright, so we got that in, ready to go. I've just got to adjust this down on here. So what I'm going to do is, I just want to do a very light one. So I'm just going to go down to 0.5 on this side, but just on the cutting height, because I don't really want to do too much. It's just a light groom. It's very young, this grass, in terms of new seed, so we don't need to do a massive job. That'll be end of September or like mid-September when we do that, but just today we just want to give it a light groom, see what we get out, and then we'll give it another cut, bring it down to 25, and then we can get our products on. What we're doing is we're freeing up room for the new grass that's going to grow when we put the feed on. Alright, so that's the second basket full. Let's have a look at what we've pulled out. Wow, grass, who'd have thought? So again, a mixture. We've got some grass, which is like the lateral growth, which is the healthy stuff that's come out, and then we've got all the yellowing stuff as well, which is good. Like I said, the feed can now get in there a bit easier, and the new growth that we're going to get off the tillers, off the new grass, is going to replace all this stuff, and then the process continues, scarify, vertical, feed, etc, etc. That's how it works. So what we're ready to do now is cut again. Let's have a look up close. So it's lovely. It just feels absolutely fantastic, strong. Get this cut and it's going to look beautiful. This reminds me of a few years ago, well 10 years ago actually, when I was invited down to Bolton Wanderers after I emailed because the pitch was an absolute disgrace for a pre-season friendly against Stoke, I think it was. I know like sheep had been grazing on it, so I emailed them and I just said it's not acceptable this. I was expecting better, and they emailed it to groundsman Richard Norton at the time, and he was like, yeah, we've had a few issues with the product, and just come down and have a look if you want, and we'll show you what we're doing. So I went down, and here are the pictures of what it looked like, and I think this is looking better. Although I don't have a Macron, whatever it's called now, Tough Sheet Stadium around this, you can see the length is pretty similar, and the thickness is pretty similar, but what they had at that time was a lot more dead growth in there, so it really needed a scarifier that, because it did look very sweaty. But that's just because at that time of year it was very wet, no sun around in like early August it was, so the pitch then starts to sweat. So this is why we verticut. And it had red thread all over it as well. It had red thread and weeds everywhere, and annual meadow grass, so everybody gets these things. Alright, let's just come back on now it's cut and have a look at this up front. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, lovely and strong, bounces back up. I love this time of year because I get to see this. Alright, so we're back 7 days on, Monday 17th of June again. It is definitely Monday 17th of June, because how would I know that England beat Serbia last night 1-0 with a goal from Bellingham in the 13th minute, and that would be pretty bizarre if I was to know that. So this is the results a week on. Now, I did last week what I did because France.tv was supposed to be coming this week, but grey skies again looming all week. We've pushed it back a week, but that's okay. Gives it another week to get even better. So I won't be doing any galactic work this week, so what it does need is the first cut of the week. So we'll do as normal, get on with the rotary, and then we'll get on with the cylinder to polish his tips up, and hopefully that sun will come out and give us some lovely pictures, and then we'll call this one done. Well, let's have a closer look. So yeah, it's last got cut on Friday, so it's nearly getting on for like 3 days since it was done. So what we're doing is really working, really deep green colour, which is great. Have a look over the other side as well. This is coming on as well. So we've got this down at 20mm at the moment, because this is a different type of grass. This is dwarf rye, and this is your full rye. So we can get this shorter, and that micro increment on the outlet sterling really comes in handy on this one. And that double motor in that, we can have the blades spinning dead fast, but we can control how fast the machine goes as well. So that's a great thing about the sterling as well. So we'll get on with this one first with the hater, probably go left to right, and then we'll finish off up and down with the cylinder. Don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but we've got a lovely shine to the grass. That's the orbit. That beeswax extract's in there. It's maximising photosynthesis, so when the sun shines, we're producing more chlorophyll, can store more, so we're going to get a greener plant. If we're loading it with sugar in baking, when you want to put a nice glossy sheen on something, you put a sugar glaze on. It's a very similar thing. So that's why we're seeing that lovely, sleek, kind of greasy looking surface, and that's the orbit doing that. So what we'll do now is we'll get on with the sterling. I'm going to go left to right again. It's a bit longer than I'd like. So I'm going to go over what we've just done, and then we'll go on 28 that way. I just like to do the first cut 28, bring it down in increments, and then when we're finishing, we'll be on 25. Actually on Friday, I got it down to 23, but I wasn't sure, it was just a little bit shorter than I'd like. So we'll see what happens. That's a good thing. If we leave it high, we can take more off, but if we go too low straight away, we can't go around gluing everything back on. Alright, so that's the left and right pass done. 28mm. I've just dropped it down to 25. So let's get it cut up and down and we'll see how it looks. It's looking great this way. But yeah, if we take it down a little bit more, really going to tighten that sward up and it won't look as long, and it's just looking a little bit untidy. But when we go the other way, it'll pick up anything that we've missed from going left to right, and it'll cut it even shorter and really make these stripes ping. Alright, so this is the little patch that we have just to the left of the main lawn. This is cut on 19mm just then. It's a dwarf rye, so we can go even shorter. See how we've got plenty of leaf on there, so we could actually chop that leaf in half, not straight away, because the grass is going from the ground. Then we're able, that's the good thing about this dwarf rye, we've got the versatility. And I've seen some fescue and bent lawns where they're actually being cut higher than this, and that's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to keep them at like 3, 5, 8mm, but they're actually longer, they're like 30mm, which defeats the object of having that. So why would you want that? Because all you're bringing in is your disease factors, your thatch, your constant need to aerate, core, dethatch. Whereas with this, we can actually get it shorter than a fescue and get this lovely deep green stripe, which you can't get with a fescue. It doesn't work like that. The grass is so thin, it doesn't reflect any light. Even on the masters, they've got bents, probably just bents on them, but they've got some wee grasses, but the stripes are never defined because there's no light reflecting back off them. So that's why the rye, for me, is the best. That's why I love it. That's why I deal in it. That's all I deal with, because I can get a bent fescue finish as fine as, not as fine as, but as short as that, and that's what you want. We all do the lawn care for the stripes, so that is your natural choice for me, I would say. But you're your own person, you can do what you want. Some are, but I think in the long run you'll revert back to this, because over the winter you'll just see it perish. So don't waste your money. Over here now, look at this. This is football pitch grass, full rye. Bit of a worm cast damage there. Well, let's have a look at it up close. Oh, the sun's not out, there's no shadows. Beautiful. Look how deep the green is. And if we open it up, you can see the soil, it's just right there. 25mm. Beautiful. Sun came out before, you might have just caught it on the time lapse, but I was about to start singing Brittany, but it went back in, probably because I was practicing and Sun heard me and went back in. but without the sun it still looks great. If it was to come out now, Brittany could make an appearance, but the sun is right behind all this cloud here, but it is breaking just through there. I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't, but it is there right in the distance. So look at that, beautiful, that shine. Absolutely stunning. Let's go down here and have a look. Must clean the path off or else I get slapped round the head. Beautiful. And that is what it's all about, producing results like this. But because it's not a full sun day, Brittany's not coming out to play, unfortunately. Yeah, right, so anyway, I'll stay here admiring my work, but let's go back to the posh job and we'll see what Dan's getting up to there. Alright, well, I'm just cleaning the path. The sun has shone. Oh yes, look at that, absolutely phenomenal. We've not even put Galactic on yet, so when the French come to film, got the Galactic on, full Sunday, it's going to look absolutely beautiful. I'll not fall down the sleeper this time. Look at that, oh, I'm in dreamland. Look at it from this way, beautiful. It's just slightly gone behind the clouds again. Everything's coming together, the borders, beautiful, all the peonies coming out just in time. But yeah, look at that, let's just have a walk around here and let's show you what it looks like from this side. Beautiful. Oh. This side. Oh yes. Look at that. But it's not a full sun day, so Brittany's still not coming out. Don't get excited. We've got a lot more to do here. We've got to verticut it after Galactic. Let's have a look at it from over here. Oh yes. Don't trip over the bottle, you stupid idiot. Oh yeah. Look at that. You beauty. In the shade, lovely. Let's have a look over here. That one looking beautiful as well. Single, sometimes on a smaller area looks miles better than big. Makes more of an impact. Beautiful. Again, reiterate, why would you want fescue lawn when you can have it more or less the same height and have that without all the other problems. Beautiful. Let's have a look at it from over here. Oh, look at that. Oh, come on. Oh, beautiful. Look at this. Oh my word. This is the best it's ever been. Best it's ever been. Let's have a look up close. Oh, that is just grass heaven. Look at that. Oh yes. Oh, I could stay here all day, but I've got to go. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, let's go over to Dan at Posh Job and see what he's up to. Alright, hope you've enjoyed all those lawns there. Former Britain's best lawn there was just absolutely amazing earlier on. So we've got our Alec Kensington ready to go. It's fueled up, definitely. We've got the height set where we normally have it. It's in between 3 and 2, so we're going to take her quite a bit because it's quite short, that. But because it's all stood up, it's going to give us an even shorter finish. So we'll crack on. It's going to take about half an hour, so I'll put you on time lapse so you can watch me do it, and then we'll get some feed on. Alright, so I'll just start to show you from this end. We've got the lawn back. You can hardly see any of those weed grasses now. You know, before they were all over, but because we've been able to get in there, thin them out, chop them back, they're hardly visible like they were a few weeks ago. So this is just going to be ongoing. Feed, cut for a few weeks, scarify, feed, cut for a few weeks, scarify, and then we'll soon be in the autumn because the years we're halfway through it already. It's the equinox on Thursday, so yeah, it's waiting for all this sun to come. It's just wishing our lives away, but I think it's coming at the end of the month, or it's certainly looking better for the end of the week anyway. So still a bit windy, so I've looked at the weather forecast and it's supposed to be really still on Friday, so I'm here again Friday. So we'll do the equilibrium treatment today, and then Mark can get on with the watering, and then Friday we can spray for the weeds because they'll have grown back as well, because there's not really any foliage left on them to spray, so it would be a waste of doing that because it doesn't work unless it's actually made contact with the leaf. So yeah, so up close now we can see we've got a lovely sward back. Again, even though this is probably just like a field originally, got a bit of annual meadow grass there still, but I think most of you'll be happy with that. And when we're pressing down, the soil's just there. We're not standing on a sponge of thatch and stuff because we've done the work. Now we're just maintaining what we've got. All right, so we're just about to go on with the equilibrium. Now, some people are getting in touch saying, I've missed a bit, I've not done it right. You probably have done it right, but you've just not put enough on. What I'm trying to hammer home at the minute is that the recommended rates on the bag are just guidelines. They're not like the be all and end all for everybody. You might have to up your dose, you might have to lower your dose. It's what works for you the best. Depends on your lawn. If you've got a sandy base, you're going to need more because the nutrients are going to leach, so it's going to run out quicker. And if you've got a soil on, it's going to last a bit longer. If it's really wet, the nutrients are going to leach out of the protective coating quicker because it's wetter. So all these variables take into account dictate what rate you're going to go on. Also, when you're using your spreader, if you're distributing it really fast and trying to make your prill go really far, you're not really getting it on. You've got to be really slow and make it come out slow and just fill a certain gap. I like to do 4 stripes on 30, say today, which I'm doing, but I'll just make sure I'm getting an even coverage, and that's how I do it. I might go on it more than that, so I just get a few bags going and get it done. Because obviously, for you, obviously it would cost more, but here, for example, we just want to get it right, so that's not an issue. So we've got to make sure we do it nice and slow, nice and steady, and make sure we don't spread it too far because you're weakening in that effect that you want. So let's get going. I've got to walk down to the bottom and push back, and I'll show you how I do it. Because what some people are doing is they're probably getting 8 stripes and making it spread over 8 stripes. And if you do that, you're kind of halving your dose already. So I'll just set it out like that. And if you've got these guidelines, it's great because you can just see how fast you're going and you know you're getting really accurate results. If you walk too fast with this, you'll end up with a rainbow effect. Because it's coming out in a circle, in an arc. If you hit a divot or something and you go flying, you push it further. So you've got to go nice and steady and really use the forearms to keep you nice and steady. So I'll do that to the end, and then that's it for today. Get Mark to water it, and then it's home time. Alright, so that's this video done. Equilibrium down. We just need it either to rain, which I don't think it's going to now. It's going to be nice-ish for the rest of the week, but cloudy, so I'll get Mark to water. Even though I don't want to sabotage his side, he obviously doesn't really want to sabotage my side because in essence they're both his side, so he wants the best for both. So he'll do that. So that's it for this job for today in terms of feeding. We will do the weed killing and all the other products that we put on Friday when it's a bit less windy. As you can see now, it's just not ideal for spraying. So hopefully you've enjoyed all the other jobs as well. I really enjoyed making this video today because I really got to see some of my hard work paying off, especially at former Britain's best lawn there with those tartan stripes. That was just immense and the best they've ever looked. So join me next time when we're doing something else here on Daniel Hibbert Lawn Expert. Bye for now. don't forget to like and subscribe, really helps us out. Oh, and I just wanted to second a post by Robbie at Premier Lawns. He put a post out last night saying, sorry I can't do loads of vids at the minute, the weather's just playing havoc with my schedule, etc, etc, and it means we just can't put as many vids out, and I'm the same. I'm only able to do one a week at the minute just because open the curtains in the morning and it's either raining or windy or something has happened, and it just means we can't get out to do the vids, and this is our like secondary income, so we have really got to look after the main income. So feel you on that one, Robbie. So we'll see you soon, hopefully with some more videos as well. So take care, see you soon.